the 59 of dispersion or sexuality, and we'll have the sleeping phoenix, strategy, or spirit. So if this is in your conscious core essence or your personality sun, what we have here is the third variation of the sleeping phoenix. And what we get here is our genetic roles for intimacy. So we're going to walk through those here. The 59 is operating out of that charisma that's still there in the 3420. So that 59 is going to be very particular, is going to be very powerful, particularly with that 3420 underneath of it. There's going to be a mutation that happens here in the 55, which is going to affect the 59, which is then going to affect, well, it's going to affect absolutely everything. But the 59, what it's going to affect is eventually it's going to affect our strategies for sexuality. And we're not going to get into that here, but that is going to be an adjustment that we do have to take. So let's just talk about the sexual strategies in the first, second, and third line, because that's what is going to be here in the right angle cross of the sleeping phoenix. And that's going to either be the pursued or the pursuer, shyness and boldness, and bonds made and bonds broken. So these different sexual strategies will allow us to then find our charismatic spirit. So we'll be able to respond to those correct bonds. Now, dispersion, what this really is about, this is about breaking down barriers. That's what the 59 is designed to do. It's designed to look towards the 6, because the 6 is the pH. The 6 is, the 6 kind of has a barrier around it. It's very particular on who it lets into its emotional system. So the 59 is the dispersion aspect of breaking down bonds. So the sleeping phoenix on this particular version breaks down those sexual bonds with others based off of the spirit and the charisma. And our genes are not satisfied until we have this huge genetic pool. And our genes really want to orgasm. That's what they really want to do. And they want to procreate. That's what the sleeping phoenix in this particular aspect really is about. It's about procreation. So don't feel bad that, what I can see here is someone who potentially is a very high class call girl. Someone who is deeply seated in using their charisma to break down barriers of others so that they can find their own spirit. So, and that's not unmoral or unmoralistic. I can see that taking place here in this particular Incarnation Cross. So these are the great fertile agents, and they're this fertility that's actually designed to really keep us afloat, because we are going to change. Human beings we're taking this huge shift. Everybody can feel it on the planet right now, especially this 2020 year. And we're taking this massive, massive shift. And fertility is going to be one of the places that becomes a struggle for humanity. We are not going to be as fertile. So the sleeping phoenix in this case, this is all about that sexual strategy and using that sexual strategy correctly in your particular purpose. Now, it doesn't have to, just because you're on this, I'm not saying that you're going to be a sex worker. That's not what I'm saying. But you're going to be using your sexual strategies to break down other people's barriers. So you're either going to be pursued or the pursuer. You're going to be shy or bold, or there's going to be bonds made and bonds broken. There can be some promiscuity there as well. And that is really what this is about. We're in the quarter of duality. We're doing this with other people. Then when we get to the juxtaposition cross of strategy, that's what the 59 is all about, is sexual strategies. So here, The fourth line, they're always looking for the best deal. They are the opportunists. They are the people that are here to really strategize and place themselves in the best position based off of those opportunities. So now all of a sudden we have the 16 and the 9 underneath. So the sexual strategies are really going to be about talent and about focusing on that talent. So how can we break down other people's barrier to get the talent and the focus in the correct spot so that our spirit can shine? So these people are going to be very much fixed on strategy and how to strategize, break down the barrier of other people so that they can take a friendship into a sexual encounter, for example. So what I see in this particular cross is I see a lot of quote unquote matchmaking. How do we get this talent with this talent? And a lot of matchmaking, sexual matchmaking, really. That's what I see a lot of going on there. Now we have the left angle cross of spirit. And what happens here is that we have a lot of seduction because we have the fifth line. So the strategy that's going to be used here, the sexual strategy is all about seducing other people, seducing them so that their spirit shines. Now, again, we're breaking down barriers so that people can get in touch with their own spirit. And there's going to be a massive amount of projection, of course, on the fifth line person. However, this is that seduction or being seduced. And that's how we find our spirit. And the sixth line, what it is doing is it's operating through what we call the one night stand. Why do we say that? So for the first 30 years of a sixth line being, they always operate as a third line being. So lots of things bumping into them, bonds made, bonds broken. So they're learning a lot about that. Now, what happens between the ages of 30 and 50 is that, okay, so they had all those experiences. Now they can recognize this. And then really what they do when they hit that 50-year mark, this isn't about being intimate with anybody else. This more so is about finding your own spirit through that love of self, taking oneself into the future by really being able to drop in to your own spirit. And that is really what the left angle cross of spirit, they are helping people find love within themselves. So here's what I see here. There are tons and tons of these all over the world where you go in and you learn how to love yourself by masturbating, by loving your own vagina, by loving your own penis, by embracing your own sexuality. So I see that here. I see that that aspect of how can you create wealth, helping people take a look at their vaginas and speak about those sexual terms in ways where people begin to love themselves and feel comfortable and find their own spirit in that so that they can progress into the future and follow their own path. So play around with this. A lot of sexuality here, but that's okay. Sex is a part of business. It's a huge part of business, actually. And there's a lot of strategies here. So play, see what happens, see what comes up for you, and we will walk through this in our coaching.